Yo, what's poppin'? Welcome back to Bhroman Braapsody. This is episode number 18 and the first episode of 2021. I bought myself a 2020 Indian Roadmaster Dark Horse. It's your boy Bro, and I am your Bhromance. Special shout out to Lunar Lens. Go check out their Facebook page in the video description below. So I was looking to get a touring motorcycle and I wanted an American V-twin bagger. So the options came down to either a Harley or an Indian. And I fell in love with the Indian. I'm gonna share with you all the things that I love about this Indian. And you know, there's the most obvious one. Be Indian, buy Indian, right? So Indian motorcycles, it has a lot of history, a legacy, and they are the underdog. So Indian motorcycles are the oldest American motorcycle manufacturers. They've been around since 1901. That's 3 years before the Davidson brothers created Harley Davidson. They made a lot of good motorcycles back in the day, but then the First World War broke out and they stopped producing motorcycles for the civilian population. They supplied motorcycles to the US Army and the Allied forces. And by the time the war ended, they had lost their market lead, which they never really quite recovered. Then came the Second World War and they produced some more motorcycles for the US Army and the Allied forces. And then they ceased production in 1953. Since 1953, the name has been around, it's been bought by different companies and they started producing motorcycles. But those motorcycles had a lot of quality issues. Then in 2011, Polaris bought the Indian Motorcycle Company. Polaris is also the company that produces a lot of off-road vehicles and they produce the Polaris Slingshot. So Indian came back in 2013 with a new swagger almost. So that's the underdog. They're making a comeback. You absolutely have to support the underdog, right? Then comes the second piece. They have like really cool names. This is the Indian Roadmaster, which competes directly with the Harley Davidson Ultra. And this trim is called the Dark Horse because it has the blacked out engine parts and it has this blacked out look to it. It's Dark Horse. Even the color has a name to it. It's white smoke. And the engine is called the Thunderstroke engine, the Thunderstroke. Then comes the third part, just the design and the specs of this motorcycle. This has a 116 cubic inch engine, which puts out about 126 foot-pound of torque. It weighs about 900 pounds. It has 37 gallons of storage space. So let's start from the tour pack. To open it, there's a button here. You press it and you lift up. Inside, you have a really spacious tour pack. You can fit 2 adult full face helmets in here, and it also has a little light up there, like a trunk light. It has hard saddlebags on both sides. These are waterproof, and again, these open up outward, so you can open and access your saddlebags while you're riding. To do that, you just press the button here and pull it up. It has a nice deep saddlebag and the Indian logo. You have a really nice padded backrest for your rear passenger, and it also comes with an oh shit handle. It's like not a handle but something to grab onto. It's like you're sitting on a saddle. As for the seat, this is a low profile narrow seat, but it's very comfortable, guys. The other really cool thing that I like about Indian was that they did not cut corners. Like, you can take off your saddlebags and still ride because the rear fender is still there. So even if you take this out, the bike's not gonna look naked because the fender, you still have the fender back there. And just in case you didn't know what your Indian is, it has a 116 cubic inch engine and it says it's Indian. It's got these beautiful contrast cut wheels up front and on the back. This looks really good. Now on the Dark Horse and the Limited, you get this short fender. If you get the regular Roadmaster or the Roadmaster Elite, you get what they call the valance fender, which is that old school fender. Smaller fenders here. You have dual 300mm discs with 4-piston brake calipers. you have this cool Indian headrest logo here. I really like it. It's a nice touch. You have big, powerful LED headlights and driving lights. Another cool feature are these inverted front forks. So you know the front suspension has two tubes, the larger tube and the smaller tube. The larger tube gives you rigidity, and the smaller tube is the one that moves in and out. What this does is this gives a lot more rigidity to the steering column and the steering mount. So this makes it a little better handling. And this also has a rake angle of 25 degrees. The rake angle is draw a perpendicular line from the steering mount and follow the fork tube. That's your rake angle. The smaller the rake angle, the more nimble the bike is. So here you have the lower fairings. Now this lower fairing provides wind protection for your legs and knees, now which is good on cold days, but on warmer days you need some air to come through. So you see those vents, you can open them up and let some air through. On both sides of the fairing you have this little storage space which says Indian on top. Pull it out, there's a lot of space, and you can put up to 5 pounds of stuff in there. Then there are the features. It has amazing features. To start off with, this has the cylinder deactivation. It's an 116 cubic inch 1900cc engine. It is air and oil cooled, so it's gonna put out some heat with that cylinder deactivation. When you're stopped at a red light or in traffic or something like that, it shuts down one of the cylinders, so it's not putting out a lot of heat. Here's one cool feature. You see this windshield? This can be moved and adjusted electronically by the push of a button. There's a button here that you can use. Or if you want it low, boom. So you have these two buttons here. The one on your left is for your hand warmers or the grip warmers. So up means warmer, down means not as warm. And then the one on the side, this is your central lock. So you can lock and unlock your saddlebags. So if you're leaving a bike and going somewhere, just lock it here and you're done. You don't have to put your key in the keyhole and do it. You can do it that way if you want to, but it's not necessary. It's got central locking. And it says Indian and Indian. The other cool thing is you see there are two gas caps. Well, this one is just for looks. And they did this to give it a more symmetrical look. And this motorcycle has keyless ignition. So this is the key fob. You also get a regular key to lock and unlock your saddlebags or to lock the motorcycle handlebars. And if you flip this key fob around, you have lock and unlock buttons on the back of this key fob. So you can use these to lock and unlock your saddlebags. Then you have the controls on the side. This is for your music. You can raise your volume, decrease your volume, mute it, skip tracks, turn signals, and your hazard lights. Horn, passing light, and high beams. And this is to toggle through your menu options. On the right hand side you have the button to control your windshield, cruise control, the kill switch, which also acts as the start button, and the brake levers are adjustable. You have two speakers in the front, one on each side. They both say Indian on them. You have these nice big teardrop shaped mirrors with the Indian logo inside. And if you look at the top where it has a little Indian logo again, that's a little space to put your phone, and it has your charging connections. This bike comes with Apple CarPlay, and from the 2021 model year it also does Android Auto. There are two buttons on each side of the infotainment screen. This is for your driving lights, and this is your power button. Press it and boom, it comes to life. That's such a cool graphic right there. And the screen is all touchscreen. You have two analog dashes on either side. This gives your speedometer, and it has lights for, is it in miles per hour or kilometers per hour. You have your cruise control set buttons, lights here, left turn signal, high beam, neutral, out of gas, and the kickstand indicator. I like the kickstand indicator. And this little digital thing here, it gives you your fuel range. Now if you come to the right side, this is your tachometer, and it has lights for tire pressure, engine oil, battery, right turn indicator, ABS, and check engine light. And this tells you what gear you're on and your odometer. All of your controls are at your hands. You don't have to leave your handlebars and go and play unless you really want to. So back to the infotainment screen. It's got navigation as standard. You can do a split screen by pressing this button here, and it'll go through the different screens that you can have. If you want to go to navigation, press the navigation button. You can pair your phone to this infotainment screen, and if you press on this, it'll bring up your phone and you can dial and do whatever. Now you cannot take calls with it, but if you have a Bluetooth thing in your helmet and it's connected to your phone, you can answer the call and it'll go to the Bluetooth in your helmet. And then finally you have the screen for your music, and there's a bunch of sources for your music. You got AM, FM. If you have an iPod or USB, you can do that, or use Bluetooth. And then there is the fun thing. You can touch that Indian logo on top, and this brings out your riding modes. You have the Tour, Standard, and Sport. All this does is it plays with your throttle engagement. It does not change your suspension or anything, but it makes the bike more responsive. You can turn off the screen from here as well, or adjust the brightness, and you can access all of your vehicle information here. You can turn off cylinder deactivation and all that fun stuff from here. This has so much information here. And on the infotainment screen, if your phone's connected, it'll say it's connected, what mode you're on, your compass, the outside temperature, and the time. And it also has a garage door opener. Now granted, this comes with it, but to access it you have to buy a little module. You have to buy a little garage door module, and that goes here. Then is the reason number 5, the ride. It's amazing to ride. But before we take it out on the road, let me talk to you guys about a few things that I don't like about it. They nickel and dime you on some of the things that should come as standard in my opinion. Example number 1 are these crash bars for your saddlebags. This motorcycle, when I bought it, this did not have the crash bars. I had to buy them and install them later on. The second thing, it does not have floorboards for your rear passenger. It just has these foot pegs. Now you can always buy them from Indian and put floorboards there. This is a Roadmaster, but they used the same thing from a Chieftain. So it says 2020 Indian Chieftain, but it is not a Chieftain, it's a Roadmaster. These driving lights that you see, these are not standard on the Dark Horse and the Limited, because it doesn't have that old fender. If you get the regular Roadmaster and the Elite, they are integrated inside, but if you get the Limited and the Dark Horse, you have to buy these separately. Come on, Indian. Then this headrest lights up on the other models, not on this. Why? Indian says that the wiring has to be hidden in the valance fender, but the Challenger has it and it has the same fender. Come on, Indian. Well, now that we've looked around the bike, seen some of the features, and talked about a couple of things that I don't like about it, would you like to ride an Indian? I mean the motorcycle. Get your mind out of the gutter. Let's take it out on the road and see how she rides. All right, so we are off. Now this being a big and heavy bike that it is, it feels very surprisingly well balanced and quite agile. I really love this dashboard that I have going on here. It feels really awesome. And this is a comfortable bike. The seat is amazing. These handlebars are pulled back towards you, the rider. So it is a bit of a cold day today. It's been cold the last couple of days, and that's why you have the tire pressure saying I have low tire pressure, but I think I should be good. You even have your TPMS here on your dashboard. That is so neat. You have it here, and this touchscreen, the beauty of this touchscreen is this works with you having your gloves on. You can customize it and set it up however you want to. There's a little settings icon here. If you click on that, you get all of these widgets that you can use, that you can select from, and whichever is the one you want, just click on it. And if you want this one, let's say, you just click on it and you drag it on here, and boom, there you go, you'll have it. Then you say done, and there you go, you have your fuel range. How cool is that? And then this has a lot of wind protection, and you can move this windscreen with the button here. So as you can see, it goes up. So yeah, this is a very comfortable bike. It's a big bike, but it's comfortable. I love the seats. The handlebars are pulled back towards you, and if you have the windshield up, you feel no air on you don't feel no wind on your face. And I'm about 5'10", and this is perfect. This is at a perfect height for me. Now for taller riders, there is an option to get taller windshields. Indian makes a couple of them, I think, and then there's a company called Clockworks, and they make more windshields. The engine on this bike is nice. The engine sound is very nice. The exhaust is not very loud, and this is a stock Indian exhaust, and the stock exhausts are not loud for any bike. And you can get aftermarket exhausts and make them sound louder, but this is a bike that you just want to cruise around and just eat up miles in it. So if you really wanted to, you could get some pipes to wake up your neighbors. Now this, in spite of its size, it's quite easy to maneuver. Here, let's take a U-turn and we'll see how easy it is. See? Easy. And we know it has that big 116 Thunderstroke engine. So let's see how good this thing can pull from a standstill. So I'm stopped here. Let's go. Yeah! This thing can move. I mean, it's not super bike fast or even a power cruiser fast, but it's not super bike fast or power cruiser fast, but yeah, it is fast. It is quick. It is quick. I love the tachometer, man. I think I redlined it once, so that's pretty neat. This bike can hustle. Now the price tag on this motorcycle is I think so they came out with a 2021 model as well, so I think the sticker price on these are about $30,000 or $29,999. So you're pretty much paying as much as you would pay for a car, and for that price it is comfortable and you get lots of features. I love this infotainment screen. It feels awesome. Now let's talk about the cost of ownership. So let's head back to the Punk. Alright, so let's talk about the cost of ownership. So if you ride it for about 5,000 miles a year, you need an oil change and a service done every 5,000 miles, and your tires are going to last you about 10,000 miles. So over a 2-year period, you would need 2 oil changes. That's about $190 at your local Indian dealer, so that's $380. And 1 set of new tires. A set of tires front and back is about $350. That gives us a combined cost of $730 over 2 years, or $8 a day. Thank you, Punk. So like I said, this is a motorcycle that you want to use to haul stuff in it and eat up miles, have a passenger. This is comfortable, and you can do all of that, and you can do that while looking good and in style. Now, is this a beginner bike? Well, this is a bike that weighs a little over 900 pounds. It's got a good amount of power to it. It's not the best beginner bike in my opinion. It's just heavy, so nope. Now, if you are an experienced rider looking to up your game and get into the touring space, sure, go ahead, check this bike out. You might like it. And this bike is amazing. I love how easy it is to ride, and yeah, I love this bike. I love the seating position. You can haul a lot of stuff in it, and you can go long distances. Well, all good things must come to an end. I just want to keep riding, so I'm gonna send you back to the Punk to wrap up this video. So let's give it a score, shall we? On the looks, it's a 9 out of 10. On the Braap, it's a 7.5 out of 10. On the maintenance, it's an 8.5 out of 10. And on the comfort, oof, it's a 10 out of 10. For a combined Bhromance score of 8.75 out of 10. Now the Indian Roadmaster Dark Horse, it is a good looking bike. It's really comfortable. It turns heads, it'll get you noticed. It's got lots of features, lots of techie stuff in there. There's lots of storage space in there. You can travel for miles after miles after miles. You can just eat up miles in it. If you are in the market looking for a big V-twin touring motorcycle, check out the Indian Roadmaster. There are 4 trims, and if one of them floats your boat, then so be it. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. I'll see you next week. Bye.